Okay, guys, so now we're going to discuss Mr. Brett and Miss Camilla's writing. So we're going to compare them and see how we can improve and what we can learn from both of their writings, okay? So they've done the, which one? Mr. Brett, Miss Camilla? Where did
Test
you
one.
guys take it? Test one from?
Cambridge IELTS 10.
Okay, very good. Oh wait, this is Miss Camilla's. We're going to start with Mr. Brett's first. Okay, Miss Camilla, if you want to give like comments and such, feel free to do that. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So you can see that Mr. Brett has written 3 paragraphs, which is very good in IELTS, and the paragraphs are also quite proportionate. Okay, let's see for the details. Okay, I'm going to Is there any overheating? Which one's a heating space? Okay, so you put the overview by the end, Mr. Brett. Yes?
Yes, correct.
Second is most used and used. Lower. Self-decision work using basic. Describe the greenhouse gas emissions. And the information energy use. Okay, we have big words here. Okay, first, I would like to ask Miss Camilla's opinion about this. What do you think, Miss Camilla?
I see that there are 3 paragraphs, which is, like you said, is good. And the thing that is quite good also is how he doesn't repeat the vocabulary. Like, for example, the first paragraph, he said illustrates. Then the second paragraph describes. They mean the same, but that shows how his resources are quite good. Okay, and then the other task for task 1 is that not just showing your vocabulary, you need to also make comparison. I can see that he does that very well with proper like transition words. And one thing that's quite different from most IELTS answers would be the overview at the bottom instead of like right after the introduction.
Okay, is that a bad thing actually?
No, it is not a bad thing because at least the information is there.
Yes.
Okay.
For overview, what's important is it's there, and that's all. But Mr. Brett, you're missing the introduction for all of them.
Okay.
Okay, because like when you started like this, at first I thought like it's the introduction, but it doesn't cover all of them, right? It's like for each paragraph, so you're missing introduction. For IELTS, I think like 1 sentence introduction is already okay, but you have to put it. So you can perhaps say the pie charts. Give information about.
Okay. A sentence that summarizes both pie charts, yeah?
Yes. So it's like a general introduction instead of like each for the paragraph. That's what's missing here.
All right.
And that can cost you for the task achievement.
Yes.
Because the structure is not complete. So you have to find it here. Other than that, if you want to elevate your writing, okay, you've used very good words like aforementioned here, right? And then emits, emitting, emission, yeah, something like that. Appliances, and etc. But there's a tendency of a repeating structure. It's not as clear, it's not as apparent. It's not, you don't really like use the same structure over and over again, but you have a tendency to, here, look, you always put the number by the end.
Yeah, correct. That's correct.
Okay, so after a while, it feels monotonous. And if you want to have a higher score, you want to break that monotonous feeling. Okay. So for example,
Agreed.
you can perhaps say the third energy use is surprisingly far lower. And then like maybe you use a semicolon. Then, oh no, we cannot use that one. Okay. And by the way, you can just mention the 30% of this. You don't have to break them down.
Oh, really? That's okay, yeah?
Yes, that's okay.
Okay.
As long as it stays true.
All right. That's interesting. Okay.
Okay, for example, we're going to change this one so that it is put in front. You can say 30% of the energy use. Energy is used for water heating.
Okay.
Which place this as the second most used energy. Sorry. The second most purpose of energy usage, for example, to make it different, so not energy use again.
What is what does purpose mean here?
Because well, purpose here means like what it is used for.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, aside from that, the overview is on point. That's good. What I really like from here is first the vocabulary, the well, the grammar is on point too. There's not, I don't think there's. Okay, I have one grammar mistake here, inconsistency. Because in the other ones, you use present tense, right? And we don't have any time frame here. We don't have any time or year. So we usually assume that it's in the present. We use the present tense for that. So this should be do not emit. Okay. After all, the other ones, you already use the present tense. So just like be consistent with that.
Okay.
Other than that, it's good. What I really like is the vocabulary and also how you divide the paragraph. It's very neat. The proportion's good.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now let's move on to Miss Camilla's task 1 first before we discuss task 2. Do not be nervous. Yay. It's okay.
Let's go.
Let's go. Okay, now.
It's like we are on trial, yeah.
We are. Well, Mr. Brad, you can also comment on this.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. What's your comment on it?
Okay. I think if we're talking about the paragraph itself, yeah, it is already separated quite well. I mean, for the organization, I find I think it is only from my opinion. Yeah, I found the overview to be a little bit too short. Maybe I don't exactly know how long an overview should be. Yeah, but I think there are more things that can be put on the overview. Actually, that's my opinion. See. And then perhaps there is the presentation of the percentage for each category is actually pretty well as well. It can be seen that what they call it, it is smooth. The transition from one sentence to another is actually very easy to read. And then I think that's it. See.
Okay. Well, yes. Actually, for overview, it's okay to just like make one sentence overview if you can, and if it summarizes all. But I find this a bit ambiguous, especially the use of while, because it's too. When you put the while in front, it focuses on the differences, usually like that. So I would suggest for Miss Camilla to use furthermore or moreover or something like that, similar things. Or what of it? Especially because you mentioned water heating and water heating, so it's not contrasting. Okay. Aside from that, you can see that this feels like two long sentences instead of paragraphs, right? So usually I would suggest you just combine them.
Okay.
Okay. It's okay to combine them. It's like the introduction doesn't have to be like a lone sentence. Okay. But in terms of the structure, it's more complete from Mr. Red. Unfortunately, Mr. Red, you missed the introduction.
Yes.
Okay. And then the variety of the structure is quite okay. It's good. I just feel like this one is a bit repeating, but because the sentence in front of it is very different, so it doesn't really feel like you're repeating the same structure. Okay, that's why you're safe, because it's very different. Like you mentioned here, two largest use of energy, and you mentioned the categories in front first, but here it's like the proportion first before the lighting and cooling, so it feels different. Okay, so flexibility is very good. So it's a major source of greenhouse gas. Okay, I can see there's like comparing things twice as high as the percentage of energy used. And then like almost a third of total emission. So you change the words like that. It's gonna just, okay. Do not forget, if you have words that you cannot separate, you cannot say second amount or largest amount like that. It's second largest. You have to write them with a hyphen. Okay. Second largest amount of emissions comes from other appliances. Okay. For variation, you can use accounting for 28% of the total. It's only responsible for. Okay, let's use this amount. It's about the same as refrigeration. Little percent is from writing and calling. Overall, very good. I don't see any grammar mistakes too, which is good.
Thank you.
Yeah, basically, good job.
Thank you very much.
All right, so we're going to move on to task 2 now. It's a bit different. It's about giving opinions. So we move back to Mr. Brad. Well, the topic is about whether punishment is necessary for children. Okay, let's see how Mr. Brad gives his answer. Stays, children tend to be more curious. Around punishment requires. Okay. In terms of paragraph, like before, like in task 1, it's good. Ms. Kamala, do you have any comments on this?
Okay, so yes, there are 4 paragraphs, which is quite like the usual task 2 of IELTS, yeah. And the introduction is quite good because it states the beginning of giving some background of the question, and he gave a thesis statement. It is vital to think about what sorts of punishment, and he doesn't reveal everything. He saves it in the body paragraphs. In the body paragraphs, there are lots of examples which really help strengthen his arguments. And for the conclusion, it was very to the point. And what I could see is that it is a very lengthy essay, which is, which might not be the case for most IELTS takers because they might have less time or less words. Yeah.
Yes, usually we'll just have like 280 or 320 words at most. Okay. So this is actually quite a very good job for Mr. Rat to be able to write this in such a short time. Yay!
Yay!
Hey. But what I feel, I agree with Miss Camilla. This is very good. The examples really support it and you really explain them further. Of course, with the number of words that you've used, it's very sufficient. And you don't run in circle. You go on and extend the idea instead of just like going back again. However, in the first paragraph, your position is not clear. And the second is not that clear either. Okay. So you want to strengthen your position. How? Contrary to popular belief, in IELTS, we don't have to use I believe or such. We can use the standard thesis statement, the one that are not allowed to use, where we are not allowed to use like the I or pronouns, right? The academic ones. But this phrase here obscure your position, I should say. Because instead of making it your own position or your own view, you're putting it on the mouth of others. People believe, not you. If you delete this, the thesis statement will be stronger. Okay.
Okay. All right.
You will also want to refer back here to achieve this. Right? Or to achieve to help children grow. For example, why should we put it? Just to make sure people understand what kind of method it is referring to. The method for what? Okay. They're still having a hard time to see. Try to do their hats. Okay. There are some high-level words and collocation. For example, carve the right choice. So like it's not literal, and that's good. Given to their children first. Okay, so your stance here is that you believe it's people need to give punishment if children misbehave, right?
Correct.
Yes. Make that clear first here.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, when I read it the second time with both of you, I was like, okay, I didn't put.
Yes, it's you can make it better. You can make it clearer.
Yes, like literally, that's what is being asked, right? So yeah.
Yes. So from here onwards, it's good. The problem is here. When I first read it, and in addition, you also make it obscure here. So it's a bit ambiguous about your position. So when I first read this, I thought you're going to go for the, I don't agree with this. But it turns out you agree with it, but there's like an extent to the agreeing. Instead of starting with the negative connotation, you should have said, well, you should have explained something about how punishment is needed to help people grow. Like that. So maybe you should have put here, like in front, but then you say, however, people should also understand that giving punishment does not necessarily mean that parents will abuse their children physically or verbally. You can put this actually.
Okay, yeah, I understand.
Here.
I understand. Yeah.
Right. So it also becomes like a connector to the next paragraph.
Correct.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to delete this, unfortunately. You have to focus here. Okay. Other than that, it's good. It's just like the flow. I also want to appreciate that you're very good with punctuation, because with my students, I find that I think Indonesian people do not really care about punctuation, I suppose. Yes, but you're very on point here. Even like interrupting words like this, you put a comma before and after, so that's good. And we have good collocations too, like committing crimes, highly probable. And then Okay. Previously, without the addition of the first sentence, it's actually missing like the first point. What kind of punishment will be suitable? So instead of going into the example first, it's better to say, for example, this one. They should not abuse their children verbally before you can. Alternatively, parents can give punishments such as making them grounded, etc. With IELTS, I believe they're quite conventional about the structure of like writings. You want it to be clear as clear and as structural as possible to achieve a higher score. Like that.
Okay.
Okay. Well, and I think that's all from me. Let's move on to Miss Camilla's.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Thank you, by the way, Miss Teresa.
Of course, have to help.
Super mind-opening. Like, okay, now I understand everything.
Okay. Freedom shot should be given and control the listener. Okay, Miss Camilla's position is clear.
Okay.
Okay, I found like a high level word, and the sentence structure is also complex. You have a range of grammar. However, unfortunately, I feel this is lacking in words. Yes. So, Miss Camilla, I remember you have to write 250 words. If you don't, if I'm not mistaken, half a band score will be deducted from your score, which is like quite a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Okay.
Okay. Other than that, the first sentence here can be improved, especially this part. It's a bit like you're putting too much things together. The degree of freedom that a child should be given. Remember that this is formal writing, so you shouldn't really omit the relative clauses like that, which, and such. So it's a matter of great concern. Okay.
Can I add something from Miss Camilla? For Miss Camilla, sorry.
Of course.
I think the reason why Miss Camilla's writing doesn't reach the minimum amount of word is because of the fact that, let's say, there is this argument that says sometimes taking away a favorite toy from a child can be an effective punishment where no physical punishment is required. Well, maybe in a way, Miss Camilla can also explain like as of how it can be effective, for example, because simply talking about it will not be enough, right? Sometimes you will have to explain as of how can it be effective, for example, because maybe people cannot think that far, for example.
Very good. Yes.
My effectivenya gimana gitu, for example. Maybe it's like that. See. And there's one sentence that is a little bit on my thoughts. For example, the punishment should always bet to teach a lesson. What does it mean actually? Teach a lesson.
Like hopefully, instead of like should hopefully to teach, I would say maybe bet would be like some sort of, you know, wordplay, but maybe it
Okay.
Oh, okay. Be careful with wordplays here. That's what I say. You want to stick to the conventional. I mean, like, it's not that I want to limit the creativity, but we're writing to a standard here. It's not about being creative, but how we can comply to the standard, right?
Yes, that's right.
And yes, I agree with Mr. Brett. So there's actually quite a lot that you can explain more here, especially in the first body paragraph. Okay. You haven't explained how children are playful and why is it bad. Being playful is not bad, but the consequences of their playfulness might be bad, right?
That's very good.
So you can still explore this. When you explore this, you will want to separate this sentence. If not, it will be too long. So you can put, for example, however, every mother and father and mother are, meanwhile, like every father and mother want the offspring to become an ideal and exemplary person in life. Therefore, they tend to punish their wrongdoings, maybe like in hope that the children do not do it again. So this paragraph especially is very underexplained. Okay. Should always be. Okay. Aim to teach a lesson, not to intimidate a child. Okay, we can vary it, have to always think about the alternatives, ways. All right, before we move on here, maybe it's good to give like a sample of alternatives way. What are the alternatives way? Okay, so the reader will have time to absorb, okay, we have several options before we give punishment, even if it's minor, like that. What we have to remember when we're writing something, we're communicating with people. And when we're communicating with people, we have to be as clear as possible. People cannot read your mind. It's good to not leave anything behind the line or underline, underlying meanings.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, for the conclusion, as it is IELTS, it's still acceptable to make a very short one like that. Of course, if you can make a the longer one, like Mr. Brett's ones, that's very good too. But for this one, it's still okay. All right.
Thank you.
Well, so that's about it. Overall, good job, guys. Your writing is very good. And looking forward to see you guys again in class like this. Okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. This has been really a really memorable experience, yeah, because we learn a lot as well from each other's writing. I think Miss Camilla's writing will complement mine, and my
yes,
I think will complement Miss Camilla. You know, so if both of us make the same writing, I think that would be extraordinary.
yes, I agree.
Yeah.
With that. Okay.